for the kill. When the lioness has satisfied her hunger, ravenous vultures screech their approval of the bill of fare left for them. Giant herds of wildebeests sound almost like thunder as they rumble across the plains. When provoked, the treacherous rhino attacks anything in sight, and the caravan found it a prudent policy to stop until the brute lost interest in them. The hippos, on the other hand, are a happy lot, and nothing seems to disturb their water sports. The road to Uganda was unbearably hot. Huge anthills lined the sides of the trail, sometimes reaching a height of 30 feet. All are crawling with millions of African ants that get into everything. As luck would have it, the caravan entered the Dust Bowl low on water, and in 2 days they were completely out, but managed to get by on fruit juices. They swallowed grit and dirt for 2 more miserable days until they finally reached a large stream. The caravan stopped, and 106 hot and dusty people jumped in to perform an old American water ritual. It wasn't until later that they entertained the sobering possibility of crocodiles. For 2 days, the weary travelers washed and bathed and scrubbed everything they owned. For the moment, at least, they must have been the cleanest people in the world. The hot African sun hung high over the equator to watch the caravanners begin the tortuous passage that leads to Ethiopia. Twisting and turning, they crawled through misty highlands, then down through endless green valleys that seemed to melt on the horizon. The countryside was peaceful and awesomely quiet. The only sounds were the drone of the engines and the occasional cry of wild birds. The Ethiopian government had previously warned of unfriendly nomadic tribes that terrorize this empty wasteland and wait for the unsuspecting stranger. And for the first time, the caravanners felt a little uneasy. They kept their eyes open and stayed close together. Their distrust was suddenly awakened by a band of armed men. To their relief and surprise, it was a special escort sent by Emperor Haile Selassie. This is Mussolini Bridge in Ethiopia, built during World War II, then abandoned. The caravanners were convinced it would never support the load. The warped logs buckled and complained, but the caravan rattled across without incident. On the other side of Mussolini Bridge, they faced a new problem. No road. The caravan leader summoned for manpower, woman power, child power, any kind of power. Altogether, they began to pull out rocks, fill up the deep holes, and chop back the invading jungle. It was an impossible task, but they labored in blessed ignorance, as no one knew it was going to be like this for the next 700 miles. The caravanners quickly learned that 16 men, 10 women, and 9 children on the end of a 1-inch nylon line could often accomplish what a power winch could not. Every few bumpy yards, 4 flat tires at a time would cause somebody's rig to collapse like a stricken animal. Then things got worse. Springs ruptured, axles snapped like matchsticks, hitches and bumpers parted under the strain. Volunteer crews set up a makeshift repair station and accomplished some ingenious repairs with welding torch, contact cement, and unbelievable metal splints. It was true they were looking for adventure, but none had bargained for this much, and the caravan would certainly have ended right here had it been possible to take a plane out and leave everything to the jungle. On a bad day, the caravan made no progress at all. On a good day, they made as much as 6 miles, and it was cause for jubilation. Young and old worked like this all day and fell exhausted into their beds each night, then started early again the next morning. By the 3rd week, it was an effort to be cheerful. Their bones creaked and their muscles ached. There wasn't a caravaner, man or woman or child, who didn't have a sore back. They battled the jungle for 5 long weeks and swore if they ever saw another paved road in their lives again, they would kneel down and kiss it. And did it ever look good? It was the best road they had seen in many weeks, and to them it looked like the Jersey Turnpike. With their spirits renewed, they sang triumphantly all the way to the capital city of Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa is a living tapestry interwoven with the threads of many cultures and customs. As you near the city, you can hear the sing-song of the street vendors. You can inhale 1,000 fragrances that float down from the busy marketplace. You see a parade of interesting dark faces whose classic features reveal their African, Hamitic, and Semitic origins. You catch a glimpse of business suits, white robes, and policemen in Bermuda shorts. The caravanners had hardly settled down when a royal messenger arrived with word that the emperor himself was on his way to welcome the caravan officially. Donald Bliss, the American ambassador, ran over and gave them all some quick lessons in protocol, and later that same afternoon, they were receiving the Lion of Judah, elect of God, His Royal Majesty, the Emperor of Ethiopia. The conquering lion entered the camp with quiet and unpretentious dignity, then addressed the group in English as he officially welcomed them into his domain. The escort had kept him apprised of the caravan's progress, and he was understandably impressed with their accomplishment. He became vitally interested in the group of American adventurers, and when the formalities were over, he insisted on visiting with each caravaner individually. The emperor keeps a number of pet lions. This one is the sovereign's favorite and constant companion. Selassie is a strong and powerful ruler, but the caravanners found him to be a kind and soft-spoken gentleman who talked about his grandchildren like any other proud grandfather. For the caravanners, this was a memorable experience. Before taking his leave, the emperor invited them all to tea at his palace. The next afternoon, the caravanners followed the proverbial red carpet into a palace resplendent with marble columns. Among the guests were dignitaries from a dozen countries, including representatives from the American embassy. The caravanners felt like the lords and ladies of storybook fame. They expressed their thanks and said goodbye to their newfound friend, the conquering Lion of Judah. 3 weeks to the day, the caravan left Addis Ababa for the ancient city of Eritrea, passing scores of nomads who have no particular home, but like the shifting sands of the desert they live in, they drift from place to place. The city of Eritrea is separated from the outside world by Mussolini Pass, the most impossible mountain pass anyone here had ever experienced. They climbed almost straight up and descended almost straight down, getting their courage from watching the fellow ahead of them. Arriving in the old city of Eritrea, the caravanners were surprised to learn the local chief already knew of them, and he offered to show the city's famous collection of crown jewels. These emblems of power, dating back to the Queen of Sheba, are hewn of pure gold, encrusted with brilliant rubies, priceless emeralds, and a fortune in diamonds.